All the way back in January of this year, Tesla announced the Model S refresh. From the outside, not much has changed. To the untrained eye, it looks pretty much the same as a normal Model S has for the past couple years. But the interior is entirely new, as well as most of the internals of this car. Elon originally said in January that it was coming next month, but after many delays, it is finally here, and Tesla launched the first 25 Model S Plaids at their delivery event on June 10th. Per usual, they are launching first with their most expensive model, the Plaid model. It gets a wild 0 to 60 in under 2 seconds, a quarter mile of 9.23 seconds, a top speed of 200 miles per hour, and costs around $130,000. It's pricey, but far cheaper than any other vehicle that can go nearly that fast, and it's the fastest production car ever. Today we're reviewing the new Plaid model, and overall this car is nearly identical to the cheaper long-range model at $80,000. The only differences come in performance, which is beyond ludicrous, and a couple small performance upgrades. So while I am reviewing the Plaid Model S and will of course do an insane 2-second launch, this also all applies for the long-range model, which should be delivering to customers in the coming weeks. I'm really excited to show you this car, so let's get into it. From the outside, as I mentioned, the Plaid Model S looks largely the same. It has the same 8 cameras covering the autopilot system, and it still includes a radar sensor, so it's the same autopilot suite that we've seen for years on the Model S. It has a beautiful panoramic glass roof, very similar to what the Model Y has. It has the same door handles that retract and present themselves to you when you walk up to the car, but this time they are black. Instead of being matte black like they are on the Model 3 and the Model Y, they are satin black on the Model S as well as the upcoming Model X. There are 2 different types of wheels for the Model S. There's the standard 19-inch wheels, which come with hubcaps called the Tempest wheels, and then there are these beautiful 21-inch wheels for an extra $4,500. Similar to before, there is a large front trunk for extra storage since there is not a traditional engine in this car. There's a lot of space in the back thanks to the large hatchback, and there's the understorage compartment as well. I often compare this car to the Model Y in storage space because it has all the same storage locations, but the Model Y is just taller. If you need additional storage, the rear seats fold down at a touch of a button to open up this massive space in the back. Reportedly, Tesla will be making a 7-seater version of this Model S, but for now they're only selling a 5-seater, so there are 2 seats up front and 3 seats in the back. As I talked about earlier, the biggest improvements to this car are the interior, and it feels entirely new, with 3 screens. The Yoke steering wheel is arguably the biggest design change on this car because it is not a traditional wheel by any means, and on top of the shape of the wheel, it actually gets rid of stocks entirely. There is not a blinker stock, there is not a drive stock, none of that is on this car, and all of it has either been shifted to buttons on the wheel or to the screen. We'll talk about that more in a second. For now, the door buttons have also been improved and taken from the design of the Model 3, where you press this little button, it pops open the door, and then you take it from there. The dash is overall much cleaner, and it's because it's using this new invisible AC, as Tesla likes to call it. It's the ventless design taken from the Model 3, where you adjust the vents on screen. The headliner is dark, and one thing you may notice is that there is now a new cabin-facing camera. This camera supposedly will be used for the robotaxi network in the future, but in the near term, it will likely be used for driver monitoring via software updates. Up front, there is a wireless charger for 2 smartphones, and there's also one in the rear, and we'll talk about that more in a second. The center console has a few different options and a few different sliding drawers, and then the glove box actually opens incredibly soft, and it was actually kind of nice to open. The seats are now ventilated, and that feels great to use. It was a very hot day when I was reviewing this, and using the ventilated seats the whole time I was sitting down was fantastic. They're also adjustable with these controls, and don't worry, both passenger and driver have lumbar support. When you're driving, this is your view. You can very clearly see the instrument cluster right in front of you thanks to the Yoke steering wheel, and you can see that 17-inch screen right next to you. It's overall a very clean and very useful design. In the back is the 3rd screen. We'll do a deep dive into both of those screens in just a minute, but first let's talk about the rear seats. 3 can sit in the back. This is what the view looks like from the back with the all-glass roof, and you can fold the middle seat forward as an armrest for passengers, and it also has a built-in wireless charger there for 2 smartphones, as well as cup holders. The screen in the back is beautiful. It arguably has kind of large bezels compared to what other screens may be, but it still looks great and falls right in line with the quality of the front screen. My only question is, would it cause issues when you're looking down at this screen all the time? So now let's drive it. This is driving the new Model S, and overall you can see that this is your view, and it's a very good, expansive, panoramic view. You have great views of what's all around you, and the Yoke arguably makes it a lot easier to see the instrument cluster. Driving the Yoke will take some getting used to from anyone, but the controls on it are fairly simple to use. Overall, the car drives as it should, and it's incredibly smooth and great to drive. It's a very smooth ride, and it's also a very quiet ride inside, but let's get into the most exciting part about the Plaid, the launches. As I mentioned, this does a 0 to 60 in 2 seconds or less, and it has some added visualizations to really make that launch shine on the instrument cluster. Let's check it out right here. That was it. That was a launch, 0 to 60, absolutely insane. Now let's check out how my reaction is. 60. That's insane. Oh my gosh. It's pretty unbelievable just how fast this car actually goes. I legitimately felt the sensation of my face melting off, and I don't put that lightly. This is the fastest thing I have ever experienced in my life, faster than any roller coaster. Just for good measure, let's go ahead and do one more launch. This car is just too much fun, and this is the added benefit you get with the Plaid model. It's still going to be absolutely amazing with 3.1 seconds 0 to 60 in the long range model, but the Plaid takes it to a whole nother level. All right, so this is the Yoke right here, and like it or not, all the controls on here are very good and easy to use. These scroll wheels, they scroll even better than the Model 3 and the Model Y do. And then these buttons, they have really great feedback. So if I'm gonna hold my finger here to turn, I put it there and I just felt a vibration, and it's gonna keep signaling until I let go, then it stops. On this one, I felt a vibration, keep signaling till I stop. I press harder, and then it keeps going until I press it again. Press harder, keeps going until I press it again, or until I make the turn. And then this one's extra sensitive right here. The lights, the brights turn on, brights turn off. This is your horn right there, that obviously works, but this is just an indicator to say that you can go into autopilot using the scroll wheel. And then there's this new voice commands button here, because on the Model 3 and the Model Y you would press this scroll wheel to do those voice commands. Overall, buttons wise and trying out shifting on screen, I think it's a great alternative to having stocks. I don't think I would miss stocks owning this car whatsoever, and I was one of the first critics of them getting rid of stocks. So here is the new screen on the Model S, and so far it's fantastic. It looks incredible when you see it in person. The resolution is great. I'm used to a Model 3 and Model Y screen, and this is way better. Of course, it's 2 inches bigger on the diagonal, and it doesn't have to have your driving info here, so you have a lot more real estate, but everything is incredibly responsive. When you go to type, it's just a lot faster than what is in the Model 3 and the Model Y. And it makes me think that this software and everything might be exclusive to the Model S and X because of an updated computer. But here are your main controls. You know, you got everything front, trunk, opening back there, and you have your main controls here, and it's really nice because at any time you can just bring up your cameras. And one of the cool features of this car too is that, of course, it's going to keep my maps up at any time, but I can shift anything around at any time. So if I move this over here and then I bring up my music controls, I can shift over my music. If I want to control my music and I don't really need to know where I'm going, but I want it just to be on the side there, it's very, very handy, and again, very responsive when you're doing things like this. So in pedals and steering, we have Plaid mode because this is the Plaid model. Comfort, standard, sport, all that kind of stuff. And this is one of the big things, auto shift out of park. So if we turn that on, it's going to tell me what the directions are for this. So essentially, it's going to choose for me when I hit the brake going out of park. Every other time, I'm going to have to shift on screen with this little thing right here. I go down to go to reverse and up to go forward. So now I'm going to try out auto shift out of park. So I have to fasten my seatbelt, and then I put my foot on the brake, and it just chose reverse for me, which is pretty wild. So as soon as I hit the accelerator, it's going to go into reverse. If I want to change it, go forward, reverse. It's honestly incredibly fast and easy, way easier than I expected. And again, the screen is so responsive that it makes this shifting feel just as easy as hitting a stock right here. If I want to go into park, I press the brake and then tap to park. Honestly, very simple right there, shifting gears here. I think most people will just end up shifting gears on screen like that. It's incredibly easy. But this is the backup method. Backup method is the base of this wireless charger. And as you can see in other shots, it really doesn't show these buttons unless you wake it up. So I had to actually tap this a number of times, and then it beeped at me, and then these showed up. But now they are there, so if I want to go into reverse, foot on the brake, and let me press reverse. There we go, shifted into reverse. Now I could also, of course, do this on screen, and honestly that's going to be easier at this point, in my opinion. But going into park works on there too. Going into drive. So these buttons all do function, they're just a backup method. For suspension, there's all this different information that it gives you, which is pretty cool, and you can choose your comfort, auto, sport, or advanced adaptive suspension dampening. Comfort provides a gentler ride for a relaxed driving experience. Auto adjusts to a wide range of driving styles. Sport provides a firmer, more controlled ride. Advanced allows you to customize ride comfort and vehicle handling independently. And you can see you have all your settings here, so if you click advanced, I can actually dial in my sport and comfort handling, or dial in my firm or soft ride comfort and the ride height as well. Now autopilot has a different setting because to go into autopilot you actually activate it with the scroll wheel on the yoke. So you can choose single click or double click. And then here in software we can see that it's running version 10.2, 2021.12.4.3, so it is not distinguished as version 11 by Tesla. So we can bring up our cameras at any time, and then we have this dock right here, and we can customize what is in the bottom, but the dock brings up all these apps pretty easily right there with that button. So here is streaming, and then I can choose all my different types of music here, and I can also customize which ones are going to be in the dock, so I could even move Spotify down to the dock. It's already there. And then for entertainment, this is all the same as it is in pretty much every other Tesla, except it's just in this new interface. So I've been listening to music for a little bit here. Sound system is absolutely amazing. I have the Model Y, which I think is the best one that I've heard previously, and this is just as good, if not better. Now our climate controls are over here, and they're actually much more accessible. I like that they're very close to where I would be driving. I'm driving here, and bam, that's where my climate controls are. And I can bring them up, and it's just like the Model 3 and the Model Y have. The Model S did not previously have this, so it's the same invisible AC system. And because it's a Model S, it also has HEPA filtration right here that I can turn on. It's going to get super loud. And also the yoke steering wheel does have heating right there. So as you can see right here, there's a new option for cool and heat. So it's basically the same options as heated seats before, except I can have it on cool. Right now it feels great to have these seats cooling me because it's very hot outside, and it's doing a fantastic job. I wish I had these cooled, ventilated seats now. Now regarding this screen, it was originally supposed to rotate or tilt. It definitely doesn't. It is fixed. I've heard rumors that it will be able to do so in software updates, but it seems to be fixed right now and doesn't seem to need to tilt. Alright, so here's the rear screen, and we have four basic things. We have music, climate control, heated seats / cooled seats, and then your media. And you can also adjust volume back here, and you can also adjust your temperature just right there. Now here is the invisible AC control. It says tap airwave to control. And it's cool because each side is actually independent for each passenger in the back here. So I can move this one over to here, and it's very strong. It's much better than the vents used to be. So here we have our heated seats, and I can turn those on or off. And then the right and the left seats have ventilation, but I'm not seeing the options for those. So I'm not sure where you would change those. But then we have the same Netflix, Hulu, YouTube, and Twitch. So it works just as fast as the front screen, and it's working again independent of that front screen. So this is really dedicated for rear passengers. And then I'm gonna guess we swipe down to get rid of it. Yep. It's much more like an iPad than it used to be. Overall, the interior and the responsiveness of everything in the interior from the screens and everything that's now moved to a screen is fantastic, and it really stands out to me. Before, I felt like the Model S and X were fantastic cars, but the Model 3 and Y were a little bit updated and felt more modern than the Model S and X. Now, the new Model S and X feel like the updated cars, and I honestly kind of wish I could get one. I still would have loved to see the exterior updated on the Model S, but for now, this definitely brings this car into the future and revitalizes it for me. In the meantime, if you want to check out some other features coming to this Model S soon, you can check out that video linked over here or in the description below. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.